Well,
that is the choice.
Let's go to that, because you both have said there's going to be a new revitalized Europe, but you have a horrible demographic problem in Europe. There are no babies being born here. And the new 10 countries have even a worse demographic record than the Western 15 countries do. How is Europe going to revitalize itself?
Well, one of the reasons that we have a low birth rate in Europe is it's very expensive to have babies. Yeah. Secondly, in Eastern Europe...
That's true everywhere.
In Asia it's not that expensive to have babies. In Eastern Europe, and the divorce laws are very unfavorable in Western Europe. That would have to change, so people would again be more inclined to be married because the risk would be lessened. But in, say, Eastern Europe and in Russia, the birth rate was very low because of economic conditions. If economic conditions improve...
But Spain was poor, as Tony points out. They got much more prosperous. They have the lowest birth rate in Europe.
Look,
couldn't agree more, because you have this huge social welfare system, call it what, social safety net, what you will, but you don't have any young workers coming in because there's nobody being born. How does Europe survive? Under present projections, there will be no Spanish in 100 years.
Well, you're absolutely right. So let's have a look again at the birth rate, which I agree with you, is approaching to a point where we can say it's becoming a disaster. Some projections show that in 30 years' time, the average age in Europe will be 15 to 20 years older than in the US. So we're approaching a disaster scenario. But let's analyze why people don't want babies anymore in Europe. Well, first of all, and I agree with you, having children is very expensive. Secondly, with our elaborate social welfare states, we in a way have replaced the family. In the old days, if you had a problem, you would go to your brother or your